Hi, welcome back to class, and we're moving on to week 2. And I want to let you guys know that I'm enjoying reading your introduction post, and it's nice to get to know where some of you come from. One thing I noticed is a few people in the class have come in here without much of an interest in political science or American government, and I really like that, actually, because I too, when I was taking this class as an undergrad, was not too impressed with studying political science. So it's something I actually fell into later on as I went through my life. So I feel you. I know how that feels, and hopefully we're able to turn this into a situation where you develop an interest and find your place within our system. And there are some people who are interested in this already. That's great. But again, I think you have a lot to grow from with this class. So we'll move through and just kind of look at what we have to do this week. I told you guys last week, the last week is kind of a slow start, and that's due to the fact that people are still adding the class and getting the feel for how to take an online class. But now we're really going to get into it and start moving through at a little quicker pace. So I want you to be sure to understand the time commitment. You know, this class is 8 weeks, condensed down from 16 weeks from a normal semester. And a normal semester has 6 hours of class time and a few hours of homework on top of the class time. So I want you to understand that as we go through the class, that there is a time investment you're going to have to make. But if you make it, I'm sure you'll have a great time and you'll do well. I can guarantee you, if you put the time in and you do all of these assignments and take the quizzes, you will do great in this class. As well as, of course, take part of the discussions. You know, I do set this up to be a social learning environment. I've found that this is the kind of class that really benefits from people discussing things with each other. And I want you to discuss things in a very friendly way and not to not get mean and troll each other. There's a lot that people can learn in this class. So if you come to this class, aligning with the right or aligning with the left, you have a lot to learn from having a conversation with somebody who you may differ from. And I think as you talk and you go through the class, you realize you have a lot more in common than you have in difference. So I think that first video actually shows that. You know, there's a big difference in the marijuana culture in California versus the gun culture of Montana. But if you take those two gentlemen together and you have them talk, I am sure that they have a lot more in common than you would think, and they have probably the same kind of questions and possible answers to what they're doing. So as we go on, I want to go over this, and I'll repeat this probably every week for the rest of the class. I have my discussion set up with a stagger, and so what you post as your initial post one week, you will not respond on it until the next week, except for the very last discussion. We condense this in with the very last class. So the last week you will have a little different setup, but now you're going to post initial post and not respond back. A couple of you have responded back early, and that's fine. That happens at the beginning of the semester. I did, type a message, telling you to wait until we get to the next module, and this would be it. So with the introduction discussion, I want you to get to know each other because you're going to be communicating. So first, make sure you read everybody's initial post. So this class will max out at 30 students. I don't think we have 30 in here yet, and we probably won't have 30. I don't think anyone's really adding right now. But if there were 30, theoretically, I want you to actually read all 30 of the initial posts, and then I want you to respond. So if you haven't responded back to at least 3 of your classmates, do so this week. I will grade this at the end of this week, so I'll give you a little extra time for this one. Then you're going to start your responses to the Constitution USA, a more perfect union discussion. So this is the post you ended last week with, your last thing you did, and that's talking about your main takeaway from the first video. So again, read some of your classmates' posts and go ahead and respond. I want you to respond on 3 different days at least. So if you log on and you read a few posts and you find one that you want to respond to, you could do 2 if you want, but if you just do one and you maybe post a question, log off and give the person some time to respond to you. They'll make it really easy for you to come back on the next day and possibly have an answer. If not, you can get involved with somebody else's thread. But I want you to have meaningful responses. So I agree doesn't cut it, or that I like how you said this. You know, of course, they like how they said it too because they put it out there. But have a discussion. If you're talking to somebody in a classroom, you wouldn't say something like that to them. You would just have a conversation. It's the same situation. We're going to have a Constitution USA Dropbox too. So there's a video again. Make sure you watch at the beginning of the week. Public broadcasting, for some reason, is going after these online and putting up some roadblocks. So this is probably the last semester I'm going to be offering these videos for free. I think going forward, I'm going to have to tell my students to expect to pay to watch their public broadcasting videos, because there's been a change in the way things are operating apparently. But I've been using these for the last few years in this class because they're a great set of videos. But just now, this just started this year, that there's copyright lawyers going after the public space. So, you know, ironically, they're public television videos made for public broadcasting, set up with a grant from the humanities. So it's public money, and we're trying to use it in a public institution for public learning, and there's a roadblock we're hitting. So we're getting an interesting lesson in politics. So watch the video early. So that way, if it goes away, you don't have to end up paying for it. I'm trying to really keep your costs down. I know school's expensive. So there is going to be a few things you're going to have to do. There's videos on top of the Constitution USA video you're going to watch on power. There's 3 separate videos. You're going to do a response to each of those. You're going to read the first chapter of the text, complete the quiz. Make sure you do that open book. You can keep the book open, read along while you're taking the quiz. That's fine. It's a fairly difficult quiz if you don't have the book in front of you. So do it open book. And then there's a thing called the political compass. So you're going to do that assignment as well. And you'll post an initial post to the Constitution USA. It's a free country video. And a initial post to Chapter 1 discussion. On this, do not start posting responses yet until I tell you to, so the following week. These assignments are all due on the 20th, so next Sunday. So as we work through the week, I'll show you what we have to do. Here's where this video will be, and there's the assignment sheet. Constitution USA Part 2. I found another copy of this. Again, watch it early so we don't possibly lose it again. And then we have 3 other videos we're going to watch that you have to watch. One is on how power is divided in government. The other one is understanding power. And then there's a third one looking at wealth inequality. You're just going to write short responses to these, 1 or 2 paragraphs, and that's it. I don't need a couple page paper. That's going to go in the Dropbox again. Chapter 1 quiz you're going to take. And here's your 2 discussion topics you're going to discuss. And then we have a thing called a political compass. So you're going to first watch this video. You don't have to do a video, writing on this, but I want you to watch it. It kind of goes over political ideologies. Then you're going to answer these questions. Answer the first one. Then for number 2, you go to political compass. I did put a link to it right here, where you can just put this into your bar and watch it. Go to this, and so it gives you an explanation of how to take a test. Take this test. It's going to ask you a series of questions, and they're going to use those answers to try to put you on a grid to see where your political ideology really sits. And this, every semester, a lot of people, they think they know where they are, and they're correct. But there are some people, and it's really interesting to see this, they think they may be liberal, they think they might be really conservative. They take the test, and they're not as liberal or conservative as they initially thought. So it's pretty fun for that group of people, and I usually have a few each semester that happen to them. So it's kind of a cool thing to see happen here. A big thing I want you to get out of this class is to see where you fit into politics. It doesn't matter where your parents fit in, or where your friends fit in, or your neighbors, or where you think you fit in. You have a place you fit in here. So we have a pretty diverse country, and we have places for everybody. So you get to see where you actually fit in. Part of this class will be reflective in looking at your view of the government. I will put another link. So I do have the first chapter of text. I will put that here. So I'll move that down to this section as well. And if you don't have your book yet, I have a copy of the first chapter you can read. But make sure you order your textbook. If anyone has any questions, they usually do around this time when we get to the political compass, send me an email and I can clarify it for you. But I want you to try to figure this out yourself. If you can't figure it out, send me an email. I will set up a screencast. I know it's something some people, I myself would probably have a hard time finding this with my directions, but if you have a problem, let me know and I will help you out. And again, I'm really welcoming you to this class. I hope you're enjoying it so far. I know we just started, but I want you to understand that this class is a welcoming place. You're going to learn where you fit into politics, as well as about the structure of our system. So I think the way we have it set up is you're able to leave here much more complete than you came in, as long as you do all the work. So have a great week. Make sure you get back to me if any questions, and keep up the good work.